What is up, guys? Maxmov here. Welcome to a brand new City Skylines series. Haven't really figured out a name for it yet. I'm open to suggestions. It's mainly going to be Southern Californian based. So if you have any name suggestions that kind of relate to that, let me know. I'm still thinking, and eventually I'll come up with one. But for now, I guess we're rolling with the standard game, or the name that the game gave us for the town. Anyway, working on freeway connections here, and as you can see, I do have unlimited money, and I have everything unlocked. I don't consider it cheating. I'm trying to build a realistic city here, and that's something that was holding me back in the last series. Because I had the limitations of the game, I was unable to build a really nice city, something that I liked. I still think it was okay. The roads were awful, but some features I really liked, and part of that was just learning the game. Anyway, we're in a really cool map here, something I like. You'll see more of it later on. But again, working on freeway connections here. Haven't figured out entirely where everything's going to be yet, but I am just toying around with it, trying to get these. I have basically connected all of the freeways up from the map, and then we're going to build in along the coast here. This intersection here, I guess, is more of a merge. That's been giving me tons of trouble, and I think I might come up with a different system later on. But for now, I'm just trying to find a road that I want to use for the city. I tried to use palm trees, but apparently I didn't have any installed. So we'll look at that. We'll look at that in the second half of the time lapse, where I went out into the workshop and downloaded some more stuff. But for now, we're just using a temporary bamboo tree. We're building out into this sort of peninsula inlet thing. I guess it's an outlet, because I want this residential area to be right along the coast. And I think that would be a really neat and nice feature of the city, having all of the houses here. Obviously, there's going to be some later on in the series. We're going to build some bigger tracts, like out along the freeway somewhere. But as you can see, popping in these buildings super fast looks really nice. And we're trying to get the transitions here. As I said, I wasn't really happy with it. Just going to get rid of some of the houses there, keeping stilt houses on the water. And over here, we're going to start working on the industrial area and just trying to get some of the infrastructure of the city going. I am using that prefab, and I think it's pretty cool. I think it does look really good. It's realistic to American cities. Trying to come up with a unique road design here. And a lot of this industry area is going to be built around this cargo terminal. So I used a technique there to find the perfect spacing between the track and eventually where to build your road. So that's pretty cool, I think, just to get that there. I experimented a little bit with roundabouts, but ended up with a T-section. And as you can see here, I'm painting in concrete. This is something that I didn't do a lot of in the last series and started at the end. But we're going to try to do a lot here just to make it more realistic, because a lot of these built-up industrial areas aren't going to have grass on the ground. It's going to be concrete or asphalt. Another thing I did there is change the overpass from a on stilts sort of freeway design to berms, and that's something that, at least where I'm at, is pretty common, rather than unless you're going over another freeway with a big interchange like we looked at before. I don't think that it would be there, so a lot of times they just build up dirt berms. Working here on, again, some of the city infrastructure. A recycling plant here, painting in some more of the concrete. Have some dual water purifiers. We're going to build that up later on. Putting in some dirt just to add a splash of variety. I have two here. One of them is going to be a laydown yard for, I guess, one of the companies around here. The other one going to be a construction site. But this here, the laydown yard, it's just sort of an empty lot where they can park their trailers that are extra unused. There's some scrap along there, some extra containers. It could even be like a communal thing it's just an empty lot that people have found their way into, all of the businesses around here. Trying to use some detail in there with all of the props, and I want to, as I said, I want to make it a realistic city. It's something that we didn't focus on a whole lot in the last series, but this should be pretty good, I hope. So, kind of adding some detail here and there. I don't know if I will put a building ever in this spot, or if it'll be eternal construction, but who knows. I think it looks pretty good the way it is, though. Just depends on if we want to keep that with the city layout as it expands. Looking through props, using Prop Anarchy, the Find It mod, and more beautification, I believe is the other one, just to add, you know, splash of variety, splash of detail into the city, because I think it looks pretty good. Anyway, though, I did sort of explain what was going on here. You can probably figure it out later, but I'll be back in a little bit towards the end of the time-lapse just to talk about other things, other projects. But anyway, I'll catch up with you guys in a little bit. Okay, as you can see, we've been working on this area near the residential. This is going to be a commercial area, something that I wanted to give a feel of, like a strip mall or a small shopping center. I'm trying to balance out these roads because I don't want the main access to be from that big 4-lane highway, just be really unrealistic. Again, painting in concrete, we'll add some plant life and detail later on, and I do need to get more like asphalt and plant like assets and props, just some decals. We need to work on it to break up that concrete. That transition there was me going back to the workshop and starting up or going back to the game. As you can see, we finally have the palm trees, so I'm putting them only on the inside of the curve. I wanted sort of a unobstructed view of the coast. We have them both sides on the inside, and I'm experimenting with some trees here, but I don't know. I think the palm trees from the streets are enough tree-wise. Looking for a couple places to put down parks, and I'm also using Prop It Up here to switch out the trees in some areas, because a lot of these mods come with like some more evergreens and stuff, but most of the tree life and the plant life is coastal and tropical-ish, like palm trees, stuff like that. Over here in the industrial section, throwing in some smaller commodities like the police, fire, medical, and I haven't figured out how I want to do it with the concrete. I do later on. I think I'm gonna go in and fix it up with some decals, just to add a little bit of variation, so it's not just gray and boring. But the reason I have two different locations for the services is because the distance between the industrial area and the city area. As you can see, larger police station here because there's more to deal with residence-wise. Much larger population over here. And there really is a big distance and space between the two sections, which is a good thing. We had a pollution problem with the last city and don't want to be dealing with that now. As I said, I was trying to find a way to break up the monotony of the concrete. So I was using Prop Anarchy, and I was using these planters actually to try to make some sort of grass barrier, but it ended up not really looking that good. So as you can see, deleting it right there. Just not a big fan. Connecting up some power, tried to do some roads, but it didn't do anything. I think in episode 2 we'll be adding some different things. Here though, because I realized it is the entrance to the city if you're coming off of the freeway right here, I wanted it to look nice. So we're putting in this sort of grass planted area, and as I said, I really love this painting tool, but it is also super obnoxious sometimes because of that sort of barrier it gives. I wish there's a way just to blend the different terrain types, but sadly there isn't. But putting in some bushes here, making it look real nice. A splash of plant life to break up the concrete, and something nice to look at when you're driving into the city. I'm using a slightly different style of planter for something that ended up working really well, using these low rectangles, because the grass is actually higher than the curb, so you can blend them and sort of have this seamless thing. I experimented with staggering there, but I ended up liking more of a straight diagonal going through. And I think this looks almost perfect here, the way it works, and hopefully I can do more of this, using those bushes just to kind of hide the errors or the little hiccups here and there. But as I said, I think it looks really good, breaks it up really nicely. Maybe we'll do one on the other side, but for now I'm just focusing on building up the industry. Trying to add some stores in here, building a Starbucks there. In a little bit, there it is, building a Starbucks. And looking for some other stuff to do here. We do need some sort of medical here, so putting in a little clinic there. I want to get some more variation. Maybe I'll put some ambulances there in the future. But again, the really annoying thing about the paint, sometimes it just makes an absolute mess of things. Putting in some bushes there again, or a billboard as well. And I do want to put in some more decals to fix up the just the blankness of the gray. I think it looks good for the industrial area, but the built-up like commercial zones, I think they need something. Putting in an incineration plant. We're having a bit of a trash problem inside the city. For some reason, I ended up putting in a recycling center that doesn't pollute, but it's somewhere that the city people can go drop their recycling off, I guess. And right here, I'm doing something I really like. I found these really cool, like little strip mall assets, and they're little sections of building with individual stores. And sadly, it's not the biggest area here, but I want to make one later on that's just like seems like it goes on forever. One of those types of stores, you know. And so I think it would be really cool to do this. It looks really cool. Some big parking lots, stuff like that. But the buildings are seamless and they build together, so there's tons of different store options. Something I really like, and I think it would look pretty cool. Anyway, building up more residential areas, and you can see me deleting these houses here. They're great for the coast, and that's why I have them installed, but my god, they look ugly in a subdivision because they're so long and they have that boardwalk. They're really stilt houses, but for some reason the game decides to spawn them in with the low-end residential there. So I'm just trying to clear them out because it looks awful, as I said. Anyway, building this up, putting in a park here, we'll add some pathways here and there. And this is something I kind of wish I did earlier in this build, is to add in more pathways. Again, using Prop It Up to change a lot of the trees so that we have a bit more of that coastal vibe. And I think it looks pretty good when we add that sand in. These parks are really cool. And that's another really common thing, at least in like San Diego, Oceanside, that area, is to have parks like that, or just spaces of grass and trees, even if there's nothing there. but to have that right on the coast, which is something we did. Obviously, in some future episodes, I want to build out a harbor. I think that'd be really cool. Both a commercial one for import and export, and also a residential yacht club style of thing. I think it would look pretty cool to do that in the future, and I'm open to suggestions if you have ideas of what you want to see in the city later on. Right now I'm building up a elementary school just to get education going in the city, and once I find a better place, I want to build a larger high school campus and eventually a much larger college campus that's also integrated with the city, because the other place that I live, the college being Boise State, it's really integrated in the city, and a lot of the city functions are kind of built around the campus and integrated with the campus as well. So I think it would be really cool to have some features like that, some old buildings, some newer ones, just a mix somewhere in the city. We're coming towards the end of the episode, and I'm just kind of making this train yard look a little better, adding in some props to make it look like there are some trains just resting here. But as I said, coming to the end of the episode, if you guys enjoyed, be sure to leave a like on the video, and of course, give me some suggestions. I'd really like to know name ideas of the city, because I don't really have an idea yet, and I really like a name. So I'd like to hear suggestions there. Again, thanks for watching. My name's Maxmov, and I'll see you guys in episode 2.